Right, well just this, that's Radio 3, I don't know what kind of music they're playing. They're just like somebody pressing the keys in all directions and calling it music. But there doesn't seem to be any melody line or anything. It's when middle class people write classical music and they got no ideas, so they got to do that and say they're great. And you can't whistle to that, can you, like Mozart or anything. Anyway, this radio I'm going to introduce to you is a Grundig Eton, I think it's called I can't remember what it's called now. Is it a 450, 550? I can't remember. Well, anyway, it's called the Field Bluetooth. And you'll say to me, well, that's an American radio. What's that doing in England? How are you getting on with running a 110 volt radio on UK mains? Now that well, because I've got a 110 converter in there. It doesn't half look big when you put the wall into the 110 converter. It's 3/4 the size of a bloody house brick on the floor. But it seems to work well. And you would probably think, why did I buy this Grundig Eton radio from the United States and not go out and get a Texan or something? And I thought, well, it's all really about the display. The display is clear and it's easy to see. Now the one I saw on the guy had a black front with yellow writing. This seems to be yellow with darker yellow, but I can see that. Whereas a lot of the grey on white ones, I just can't see them anymore. So I got this one, and this radio arrived today from the USA, and I took the power supply out, 110 volts. There was obviously no way I could plug that in. It's 1200 milliamp, 12 volt. I didn't want to buy a new wall wart because most of them are switch mode. This is not switch mode. This has got a proper transformer type. So I went to my local second-hand shop and he had a 110 volt step-down transformer, and that's got a transformer in it. Consequently, you plug one on top of the other and it's not far off the size of a house brick on the floor. You plug it into the wall, it would probably just drop out of the wall, but because it's on a socket on the ground level, it won't. The reason I like this radio, one thing it's easy to see, it's got shortwave, it's got Bluetooth as well. I believe it's got an input for sound if you want to send sound to it. Filters, it doesn't have a BFO for shortwave, not that I need that because I've got an amateur radio because I'm a radio ham as well. So I don't need something with a BFO, I can do amateur listening on my transceiver here. So it's a nice radio. The only thing I don't like is the silver painted edge. It's got a couple of little marks on it, new out of the box. So they sprayed it and then wrapped it in a load of cardboard, and that's probably why. They would have been better off just making that out of something else that were a bit more durable, but that doesn't really worry me too much. The front looks good. There's two speakers in it. It's got one big speaker and it's got a little tiny speaker mounted in the corner actually. So it's actually got two speakers in it. It's mono with two speakers. And it's the only radio I've been able to pick up Radio 3 and all the other FM stations on since I've lived in this town of Shepton Mallet. Because Shepton Mallet's in a dip and you've got a job to pick up normal radio here. And I don't know what's about this radio, but it's the only radio I've been able to pick up Radio 3 and Radio 4 on the FM. I've never been able to pick it up before. And this one is set to 9030, which is Radio 3, and it's not even hissing. It's picking it up well. Full signal strength. Now when I try most FM radios, they don't work. It doesn't pick up anything. But this one seems to be a bit of a slight hiss in the background, but you don't notice it till you turn it up. That radio, I think it's $120 from America. I didn't pay that for it. I got it cheaper than that. I think it was £42 plus postage. So I'm quite happy about that. And it's all plastic, but it's a nice radio. And it's got connectors on the back to put an outside aerial on it. And it's got a number of sockets and different controls on the side. Haven't worked out what they're for yet. I've not even looked at the radio. All I did was put 4 batteries in, try it out, and then I put in the mains connector, had a look at it, 110 volts, 120 volts, that won't fit. So I went up to my mate's shop and he had one that went down from 250 to 110, so it's about 10 volts low. But when I measured the wall water, it was giving out 12.5 volts. So in fact it was half a volt high, it was perfectly fine, it's giving that a bit more. So who knows, it might have a 115 volt transformer in, and perhaps it's just giving that a bit more, but it seems to be working okay. So that's the Grundig. It's called the Grundig edition Eton. I've not seen another one like this one. This is the only one I've seen like this. They do have a direct entry one, but apparently people have had problems with that one. But this one, I like it. It's got a good sound on it. And what we'll do later on is start looking around the shortwave. It's a bit dark in here. And the trouble is with this flat or this house, I'll show you. It's got very small windows, as you can see, and it just makes it very dark all the time. It can be the middle of summer, even with the lights on, it's dark in here even with that. And so you have to turn the brightness of your camera up. On the radio itself, you've got volume, RF gain, treble and bass. Why they just didn't have a tone control and put BFO on there, it wouldn't have cost them any more money, and it would have made it a more useful radio. And it's certainly capable of picking up ham stations, it's sensitive enough. So that was silly, they should have just put a tone control and then a BFO on the end. I think, to be honest with you, if they would have done that, it did something about this awful silver paint, I think they would have had a real winner for a radio here. I was thinking of buying one of those Texan S2000s, but they just look too cheap and nasty. But they have bought another one of these out, and that's a Texan, it's the same size as that, and that does shortwave amateur bands as well. So I'm thinking maybe that one will be got that eventually, and this one may go on my kitchen as a normal radio, and I'll get one of those Texan, I think it's called the S8800. I may get one of those. I did think about getting the one with direct entry. It was called the S2000, but it's too big. So I didn't like it. It has direct entry, but I can manage without that, and it's too big, and I don't want something that's that big, but it might be worth me doing that. It depends what I can sell on Mr. eBay. So this is just really an overview of this radio. What I'll do in the next couple of days, I'll set up a tripod one evening, set up another lamp, and then we'll buzz around the shortwave on it. It's got FM, narrow and wide. It's got Bluetooth and FM. Shortwave 1, shortwave 2. I'm not sure what bands it does. It's 2 bands, so it may not cover all the bands seamlessly. I just didn't really, I just needed something for broadcast shortwave, but I think the other one they've got, the other one they bought out, the Texan 8800, is general coverage. So I'm thinking of getting that for Exmouth. It might have gone a bit cheaper by then, because it's new out. And so I got a few clocks I've restored for sale, and I thought maybe I could sell those, and that would probably give me more or less enough to get one of those, if I felt that I wanted to do that. So anyway, this is a quick introduction to the Grundig edition radio. Let's hope it's not out of focus. Sometimes you have to make it closer by moving that and not touch the focus. But as you see, it's not a bad looking radio. And it's just a simple talk. I haven't touched anything or explained anything because I wanted to leave that to a later date. Thank you very much from the United Kingdom, and I would call it the Eton Field Goes to England, or as I call it, USA and England, because this radio is not sold in this country. It is not sold in Europe. It's only sold in America, and I believe in Canada as well. It's got French, Canadian, and it's got USA on the box. I don't think it was ever sold anywhere else. So I will be one of the lucky few to have one of these in England. Thank you.